It's that time again. As information about a new set gets revealed, the Destiny community is ablaze, focusing on both the existing meta and the new meta to come.
We dive into the new cards spoiled as part of the Way of the Force announced, and whether our speculations had any merit.
And you may have noticed we have a different face here, sort of. We are joined this episode by Billy Fellin, and we'll get an update on the RVA Star Wars Destiny League. So this episode is episode number 79, The Way of the Force and Leagues Revisited.
You have been well trained.
No. You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Oh, do not.
I'm not afraid.
Please don't try.
All right.
It's a sad
day. It's a sad
It is a sad day. I mean, we're happy to have Billy, but Kim got slapped in the face with something. Apparently, the seasons keep changing up there in Ohio.
It looked like it was a giant tissue from that picture she sent us. We won't share that one on the Facebook, but she's not looking too hot tonight.
So, but we're very excited that Billy, who was just going to be a special guest, has now been promoted due to the Empire's best promotional methods into a co-host for the show.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
Super fun. So, Mike, let's start with you. What's been going on in Destiny this week for you?
A lot. So last week we talked about that 7th Boba deck, and I started playing it basically right after the show last week, and I really love it. So I've been playing a ton of it, and that deck did damage this week. So we're definitely going to talk about that more. I got 23 boosters this weekend. I cleaned the store out that I was at for a little gaming convention, and I have not opened.
Yeah, they only have 23.
That was it. That was the last bit. So the day before that, I bought 8 boosters. So I basically bought the whole box. I bought like 4 short or something like that. I don't know, whatever the math is on that. I think it's 4 short. I have not opened them yet because they are going to be used to make some content for you guys. So look forward to a little spoiler. Wait, look forward to seeing that. And
exciting.
What else? Kind of Destiny related. My daughter got a hold of all my extra cards, event cards, and she turned them into a matching game. So now we have like a Destiny matching game. I get to learn the cards that I don't usually play a lot, so I see a lot more of the hero cards and stuff. And then I get to learn the characters and stuff that are on the cards too, because she asks who they are. And if I don't know who they are, I look them up, and yeah. So it's kind of Destiny related.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
You've been all over Wikipedia, haven't you?
Yes, Wikipedia is my friend.
That's awesome. That's super fun. What about you, Billy? How's Destiny been treating you?
Well, Destiny's always, an ever-present force in my life, which is fantastic. This week, we have the closest regional next to me is actually this Saturday in Maryland, but I'm actually going to be in Florida on vacation, so I won't be able to make it. So I've just been really just messing around with a lot of different stuff, the stuff that seems really fun to me and just kind of seems like, not exactly meta stuff or anything, just messing around. And, the league's starting up, so having that opportunity to be able to mess around and try different decks is a really great thing. So I actually built a Zeb Anakin deck, which I can't say I've ever seen anyone talk about or post a deck list about, but basically it was like I've been running Zeb Kanan for a while, and before that I ran Qui-Gon Kanan at the West Virginia Regional, and so it was very similar to that deck. Just a lot of sabers and a lot, shenanigans with Zeb and everything like that. It was a lot of fun. I played an FN Talzin deck, and I actually beat it thanks to some clutch rolling and some not so clutch rolling on my opponent's part, but. It was a fun deck. I had a lot of fun with it.
Very cool. That sounds like a fun deck to play.
Yeah. I always like to see when Zeb gets splashed in there. Like you see these top 8s is like, whoa, somebody did something with Zeb. I think he's got some potential that we haven't seen yet. And so that's the Anakin from the Rival set?
Yeah. And yeah. I like about Zeb. I really I love his ability. I saw that deck on, I know it gets at regionals a little bit, but I saw on Star Wars Destiny DP about the top 8 deck Zeb Kanan from the Connecticut regional, and it was running blasters and everything like that using Zeb's ability. So that was really cool as well. I think he's a cool character. He's he's beefy and he's got some great sides on him. I mean, the 3-for-1 isn't really even that detrimental in my opinion, and I just think he's a really cool character and he's got a lot of really fun pairings.
For sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool to see Anakin used in that and on a hero side like that. That's cool.
Yeah. Rock and roll. Well, because there is so much news going on in Destiny, we're just going to get right to it. So, Mike, take us there.
Let me take that back, huh? You'll find what you need.
There is a ton of news this week. Where
do we start? You know what? We should just start at the best and work down.
do we do that?
I think. I mean, what do you want to ramp up to the best?
I think maybe we should cover regionals first.
All right. Well,
Let's
there
do
were
that.
quite a few regionals this last weekend, all over the world, from Australia to England, and a couple here right in the United States. It's been fun to watch a meta that has been actually slowly progressing instead of everybody finding the killer deck and no one can beat it. So now we've transitioned. A lot of those, one-turn kills, Seven Sister decks were making the rounds there for a couple weeks, and now we've kind of switched our attention to Boba Seventh Sister.
Oh yeah,
which is really exciting to see that it took 3 or 4 separate regionals this weekend. So it's not a deck that I've seen it played a couple times. I haven't played against it, but I'm glad to see that the meta is still shaking up.
yeah. The first time you see the Boba Seventh Sister, you'll be very surprised. It can put out a lot of damage extremely quick, and it has multiple builds to it, so that you can either like be ramping really tough for that Maul Saber, or you can like not even worry about the Maul Saber and do something completely different. You can just focus on Boba. It's like there's like a lot of different. There is options, but it also just works really well. The deck is consistent.
I think it's great because, it's a unique character pairing that not everybody was exactly, on all over, when Boba was spoiled. No one really was saying, oh, man, Sister is a great pairing for him. But it's kind of evolved and come out of, I wouldn't say out of the woodwork, but definitely out of, kind of the testing phase into something that's really seeing a lot of play, which is great, seeing how this meta has been shifting and changing. But I think one big thing it has going for it is really 2 things. One is bait and switch, because Boba's got that resource side, and you can flip it to a special if you got a big side out there you want to take care of. You've got the melee side. Let's say you've got the +3 from Ancient, and you need something to pair it up with. Hey, all of a sudden you've got 5 damage coming out of nowhere. And I think Friends in Low Places is really what makes the deck kind of very difficult to play against, and that's because you can have that hand mitigation and damage. So your opponent's kind of on that. Well, I might have combos, I might be playing OTK and have these different things that I want to do, but if, Friends in Low Places kind of really wrecks that, it can really mess up a turn from the get-go. So I think it's just a deck that can hit you in a lot of different places in a lot of different ways, and those are the best kinds of decks, the ones that can really just, keep you on your toes. You don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and I like this. I like the fact that Legacies has brought some attention to yellow. It's a color that did not see a lot of top placing in the Empire at War phase, and here we are. It's just almost an equal showing of yellow, red, and blue across the board as we look at these pairings, and in a way that red's kind of gotten pushed to the side a little bit in favor of yellow. And I think, to your point, Friends in Low Places is a big reason for that, and so is bait and switch. Blue is still reigns supreme. Of course, Seven Sister I don't think was the one that we all would expect at the top here, but I think what's nice about these is the first time that we've seen a deck at the top that's really an equal footing character team, right? It's not a big powerhouse and then a supporting character. Sabine Ezra, Sabine Yoda, the Seventh Sister decks with 2 supporting characters, those hero vehicle decks, which is really just a support characters for vehicles. This is the first time we've seen 2 characters go side by side. And I even saw at the we're following the Vegas regional because our Patreon was actually the one who took that, Calden. So congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats to him. He's one of Matt's teammates. Actually, they worked really, really tough on that deck. That's great deck, and he also has a really good write up over on Star Wars Destiny DB.
For sure, and if you watch that game, he focuses upgrades on different characters each time because it didn't matter. Yeah, it was built around to play either way, so you could play, especially in a best of 3. You know, you play everybody on one character, and then the next game they think they're going after that one, you switch it up on them. So that flexibility is awesome. Yeah, so exactly. Regionals still in full swing, lots of stuff going on there, but I think this was the right time to start. Excuse me, to start giving everyone a little bit of news about some things to come. So we'll peg it back down to the local level, and they announced the Q1 tournament kits for 2018.
Yeah, let's go look at those tournament kits.
Yeah, so it's been a while, I think, since we've seen a local tournament kit. Billy, you probably know when the last time we got one is off the top of your head.
Well, I mean, I know at the shop, everybody's been really, trying to figure out when, checking in every day, basically trying to figure out when this thing would be leaked or even announced and then become available. So yeah, it's been a long time coming for this thing. For sure. And it's really interesting to see that, of course, it's this typical makeup of these tournament kits. We've got the top prize. We've got kind of a participation prize, although this time they're now specifically saying it's the top 16. So I guess they're acknowledging that lots of local tournaments are having a good turnout. So that's really cool. And, of course, the Holdout Blaster being that top 3 or that top prize for the top 2 players, or however really you guys want to distribute them. But what's interesting is these are alternate art cards that aren't in Arabesh, which is really nice in a way. I don't know if the Arabesh didn't sit well with folks or
it did
or
not.
what, but
people complained so much about it. They did not like it. I like it personally. I like the Arabesh.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's something unique to Star Wars that FFG can utilize, along with the gorgeous alt art. the full arts that they do. I think it's cool when it's like, there's not too many words on it, like the Wookiee warrior they did, and then the Jedi guard, temple guard they did for this Legacies release kit. Sometimes it can be kind of a little bit too much when there's a lot of text, but I think when there's minimal text and it's especially like a character card, like a Wookiee warrior or something like that, I think it's awesome.
For sure. So it's great to see that these are coming out soon. It's funny that it's the Q1 kit and we're towards the end of Q1 here, but I'm sure the stores will get them up and get them out at the local events as much as possible. So there was something else that happened. There was some that was about it.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, they really registered.
We can talk about this stuff right here. It's this new white box they showed with old Luke on the front.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's
what's this?
Yeah, it's Way of the Force. This thing. It's like one of the new releases, I guess. That's coming out.
Like a new set or something.
It is awesome.
No, this is really exciting.
This is so cool.
Kind of out of nowhere. Although I do believe, even though she is not here, we'll give Kim credit for calling this one. I think she was the one who called the announcement of this set.
I think so.
So it's very.
We'll give her credit.
We'll give her credit.
It.
Kim is asking how close she was on her launch prediction. I threw away that paper, but I'm pretty sure she said the second week of March.
It's not about you, Kim.
So here we are. We're at the start of a news flood of news about a new set, and as typical probably with FFG, we most likely won't see any more news for at least a month on this. However, we did get a great preview across all 3 colors of cards.
Yes,
three different characters we're focused on. So we're not going to dive into these cards because there's plenty of coverage. We have articles on our website that really dive into kind of reactions and thoughts on these cards. But I'll start with you, Mike. What really stood out from you from this release article?
Grievous. I can't wait to play Grievous. He's going to have some really nasty shenanigans, especially once you start comboing him with the new card that comes out. Right. Where Furious Assault. Spot 2 red characters or Grievous to reroll all weapon die on one of your characters into your pool. So you basically roll Grievous out with 4 weapons, use his ability, his power action, which is if you have all 4 weapons out, you deal 4 damage. then you resolve the damage, then you roll out again with that new card.
For sure. And for those who haven't
nasty.
For those who haven't seen this article, Grievous does allow you to put a 4th upgrade on him, which is really what people were calling for him from the get-go. It's way more thematic for him.
Yes.
And can take any weapon. You can put anything regardless of play restriction.
So that's going to be, in theory, you can have 6 dice on him, and his character dice are nothing shabby. 1 stick, 2 stick, 3 stick, 2 disrupt and a resource. It's like, that's great. That's already great dice. So he's a little pricey at $15-20, but I guarantee you will see him played a lot. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. He is absolutely going to be everywhere come release of this set. I mean, I think he is going to hit like a truck, and he's going to be that legendary that everyone is going after and wants desperately. He might be the new Force Speeder Ancient Lightsaber. I mean, he's just going to be able to really bring some pain. I think he just needs a really good pair. Obviously it's going to be a 3 dice star with his 20 points if you want him elite. But I mean, I'm looking at the Gamorrean Guard. I think that's going to be a really good pairing for him, bringing in yellow weapons with him as well. And Guardian taking heat off Grievous will be very, very nice as well.
You're going to see him paired with so many two cost weapons. It's going to be ridiculous. He will. I would like to see him paired with a blue character so that he can get access to all those lightsabers. Well, actually, it says it ignores all play restrictions. Does that mean you can build the deck with it?
No, I think it has to be.
It just has to be if it says blue character only, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you can still pair him with a blue character and then get things like Maul Saber on him, and then he's doing just ridiculous amounts of damage. So
don't give anybody any ideas on that. Maul Saber's nasty as it is.
Yes, it is.
What about you, Billy? What's really stood out from you from this initial plug here for the set?
Well, I mean, Grievous really caught my eye because I was one of those people in Awakenings who really, really wanted Grievous to be better than he was. But I really think Bo-Katan caught my eye a lot. I mean, a 3 range side, 2 melee, 1 shield, 1 resource, and a really cool special. I just love decks that make you think, because this one's going to really, really bring in a lot of new deck archetypes and as well as new deck, options to the table. You can include yellow villain upgrades in your deck. At $15-20, it's a little expensive, but it's not undoable, especially with something like a Anakin out there, for a decent 3 dice star with her. I think it's gonna be really cool, and I actually think Anakin's a pretty interesting pairing with her, because you can have the villain cards in there and make his special just that much more consistent and that much more damaging, because you can go both either the shield side or the damage side with his special. So I think that's gonna be a really cool pairing that I'm gonna look at right off the bat. But I mean, you got some really, really big size on a dice that you don't have to pay for. There's no pay size on that die, so I think it's awesome.
I do. I think it's what an interesting character to show too. I mean, we've got Grievous, we've got Luke, an old Luke, so now we have 3 versions of Luke Skywalker in this game, and then a character who is largely unknown unless you're a really, I don't want to say super fan, but really follow the animated series or the extended stories of Star Wars. So it's really great to see those. I would have to say the biggest thing for me actually wasn't any of the cards, although the plot card we're going to touch on here in a minute is really interesting. But there was a line in the article, if you actually read the article, that said, the set includes the most expensive support yet to enter the game, a new way to bring back a defeated character, and a rare battlefield that comes complete with its own die. Like here, I mean, I think we talked about Battlefield with die in the past. We said that'd be a really neat thing to bring into the game, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to be, like what it's going to do. Like, I'd like to know what it looks like too. Where are they going to put the dice? I don't know. I'm so excited.
I think that's really, really, really cool. Really interesting design space that Jeremy's entering into. I always thought it'd be really cool to have battlefields that were either hero or villain, or like rewarded you for running certain colors with it, or those kinds of things. But I mean, having a rare one with a dice is pretty awesome as well.
I think we actually talked about that last week in things we wanted in the release, didn't we?
pretty sure that was part of the list. So I'll have to go back and double check.
I was listening. I was paying attention.
The other thing though is it's the most expensive support yet to enter the game. So our most expensive support right now is 6.
Yeah.
With the ATST. So
let's
how can we afford more than 6?
I hope it's either like a Super Star Destroyer. I don't think they're going to bring the Death Star yet. I think it's going to be like a Super Star Destroyer or something like that. Maybe Death Star.
Be interesting.
That would make sense.
I mean, so far the biggest ships they brought into the game are snub fighters, and the biggest vehicles are, they stopped at the ATST from a size perspective, maybe the pirate tank or something like that. But there's been nothing on that scale yet. So hopefully so. Or as Kim is contributing, you have to build your own Death Star. So
I think, or if they really wanted to get into it and start bringing in a lot bigger supports, they have like the whole Armada game that they could pull all these ships from that they already have art for and everything. And they have like the hammerheads, frigates. Oh, they have like all these Carillion crafts that are like really cool. So I think they have a ton of options. So we could just be guessing. I mean, there's so many I could think of that would cost more than 6.
Absolutely. So really excited about a new set as always. And like Billy said, really seeing kind of the direction Jeremy's taking with the design. I think the last really interesting thing about this news article is we've seen it trickle in with a 2-player set and with legacies, but we're really starting to see the chat's Kim, who is not in the show right now, is heckling along with Joe, and they're just
Joe. That's awesome.
Joe, our resident heckler.
You just left it there.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Okay. I'm going to ignore the chat now and continue on for those who have to listen to this show later. The fact that the cards are going to be more character driven, and we saw it with the Grievous set, right? We really saw it with Mother Talzin too, and we saw it with like Luke Saber and Phasma's Blaster, Poe's Blaster. So we're going to see more and more of that character influence in these cards, and maybe more themed decks in a way.
I think one thing too that's very interesting to see is like you take a look at Luke. I mean, 12 health for 12-15. I mean, I think you're seeing a little bit more of them trying to get the named characters, your Lukes, your Leias, etc., and have them be balanced, but also still playable, because everyone wants to be able to play Luke and these other characters, but you're seeing them be a little bit more of an inline with the point cost, but still beefy at a 12 health. So I think it's another interesting design space they're entering is these characters that everyone wants to play, but make them playable, make them still good, but also be able to find spots in the meta where you can use these cards effectively. Like for example, this new Luke would pair great with R2 with Ray 2. So you have that kind of, again, a thematic pairing, but also being able to have Luke on the table in a nice 4-dice pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we leave the subject, as everybody is screaming about in the chat, there are plenty of other kind of artwork and nuggets on the box itself that's really showcasing what's to come. We see Snoke on the side of the box, so undoubtedly means that we'll get something with him on it, most likely a character. And there's also a die picture that we can see General Leia as well. So lots of big name characters coming to the set, which is I think what we need.
With Snoke, do you get the upper half or the lower half?
Oh, snap.
Too soon?
Too soon. Not really. It's never too soon for that. All right. Before we continue on and actually dive into one of these cards real deep, or as deep as we can go, just want to remind everyone, if you head over to Ink Gaming and you want your own custom playmat or order something off their site, just use the promo code ChanceCube12 and you'll get 12% off your entire order.
Let's go. Let's dissect a card.
Let's dissect one.
Hello, what have we here?
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so in the spirit of new cards and a new set released. We really want to talk a little bit about Built to Last. And this is a card that was spoiled as part of this article for Way of the Force. Sorry, that set name doesn't roll off the tongue quite yet. Way of the Force.
Way of the Force.
Way of the Force. So as the article explained, the plot cards are going to have some more effect. And I think we talked about this as well. We were hoping that plot cards would be more than just a one-time start of the game, bonus, an extra resource here, an extra die. Well, not die, but things like that. But now we get our first colored plot card, and we get our first plot card that has a lasting game effect, which means you have to make a decision. It is 4 points, so you have to give yourself a 26 character team or less to make room for this bad boy. Built to Last reads, each of your unique upgrades has the redeploy keyword. After you play a unique upgrade, you may exhaust this plot card to gain 1 resource. Discuss.
It's good. I mean, it's straight up good. I mean,
it is good.
4, I think is a good balancing point. You don't want it to be too cheap and just have it be overpowered at all. But I think it'll bring some very unique deck construction to the table, which is always fantastic. I think it's really cool that it's a color specific plot. I think that's also a very interesting design space. And I mean, I think it gives us something that we've been a little bit wanting since even Awakenings. You have these big cards, like Kylo's Saber, the Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber, which obviously doesn't see a lot of play, but is one of my personal favorite cards. Luke's Saber, those kinds of big cards that we've always wanted to play, and sometimes it's been a one-up in a deck. But the downside was always you pay so much for this card, you get build up to it, and then it goes away once your character dies. And by the time you get to play it, it's pretty close to that time. So having a unique upgrade, gain the redeploy keyword, and then you get to gain a resource on top of it. I think it's a really cool ability that I think a lot of good players will be able to really utilize very well.
But 4, that is such a high cost.
Yeah, that is tricky. But I also like the fact that it does have a bit of a resource ramp into it too. So I know you still have to have the 3 resources to play down that upgrade, but you get 1 of it back at the end, which you can use towards the next upgrade you're playing. And I mean, can you imagine, throwing, Luke's Saber and Rey's Saber and Rey's, I don't know. I'm sure there'll be some better named upgrades coming up soon. And it's just unique upgrades, which are mostly the named ones. And then, flipping them all over to a Padawan or some nothing character once the main character goes. It's all unique upgrades have that redeploy keyword. So it may take a couple sets for it to be useful, though. It may take a couple sets to build those unique upgrades so you can fill your deck with them.
I do like that they are finally doing something with all those titles and stuff that they've put on the cards. They're making it worth it to play a unique upgrade, because a lot of the times you play a unique upgrade, and then once you play it, you see that second copy, it's an automatic discard, and sometimes that kind of sucks. You would like to be able to play that second weapon. So, I like it though. It's very interesting. I like what they're doing. I like that it's also a color. So we're gonna get stuff that's special for each color and work towards its strengths.
I think one kind of funny thing is Master of the Council gets redeployed, so it's like the Master of the Council is just passing around the
I mean, that's how the Empire promoted people. So, I guess it works both ways, right? oh, this Jedi died. You're it.
You're it.
Congratulations, Maz Kanata. You are now Master of the Council. So, that's really, I mean, it's pretty interesting, and I think it'll be interesting to see if it can be used. Like you said, this adds a layer of complexity to the game. That still allows the game to be accessible for new players, but allows experienced players to really play with what this can do. I think that resource ramp is going to be key. Mm-hmm. It's not something we think a lot about, but I think having a plot card, it'll be interesting to see. This is only one of hopefully several that we'll see in the set. And before we leave the card dissection, I just want to make an observation. They've completely reorganized how they number their cards, and it may drive me crazy. So if you look at the card numbers, the dice cards aren't the first 60 numbers in the set. They are mixed in by color. They divide the whole set by hero, villain, neutral, and then by color. Based on the numbering of the cards.
I didn't recognize that with this card. I guess 115 is kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually plot cards were closer to battlefields last time. So,
Ooh,
so
that's going to be kind of irritating.
Yeah, you'll notice your hero and villain characters are very their numbers are very far apart. So, if you have an OCD about your organization, get ready for these numbers to be not the way you're used to it. Just saying. If you're that kind of person, which I am, I'm sorry. All right, moving on.
Let's go do a giveaway.
Look, I ain't in this for your revolution, and I'm not in it for you, Princess. I expect to be well paid. I'm in it for the money.
All right. Kim's not here, so should I read the giveaway answer?
Yeah, but I forgot what the question was.
Kim will tell us in the chat.
She will tell us in the chat. It was all about speculation, wasn't it? We were speculating last week.
Let's see. Oh, what card you'd want to see? What new card you'd want to see reprinted? Was that it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was what card you wanted to be reprinted.
Yes, Kim. Kim is in the chat, and she does have to do. She's asking.
Yes,
she says
she has to do everything.
And yes, she has to do everything because we are useless. We're useless without Kim Bree. She doesn't realize how much she holds the show together.
Should I turn my voice changer on to read the answer?
Should I be a female?
What's happening?
Does it work now?
You sound like a munchkin.
All right, I'll read the answer in this voice.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, the winner this week is Taylor the Bokeh. And the answer: I see no long answers here. What the heck? But I guess I'll just have to be the one to do it. I believe this game needs a new Vader. I haven't had one since Awakenings. I think a playable Luke would be great, but that won't happen. Maybe we'll see a new Jango. There could also be a few reprints. They'll probably wait till the third set for that. I think Ewoks will be a thing, also Baba, a new Padme, and Senator Organa.
There you go. So thanks, Taylor.
All
Just shoot us a message via our Facebook page, and we'll get that Q1 Electroshock from last year's tournament kit out to you.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
congrats to Taylor. For the rest of you, it's another week and another question. In the spirit of Way of the Force, I want to know what you think this Battlefield die is going to do. Like, let's have some speculation on how this Battlefield die is going to work. Like, do you claim it and you get to roll it? Does it have damage? Is it a support thing? So
I don't know, we'll see.
I don't know, but Kim did want to say that all the Facebook answers this week were amazing. We thanks for everyone for participating. Continue to do so. We do love to do these giveaways. I know the prize can be exciting and sometimes can be not. Hopefully this week is exciting because we just had one of our alt arts printed in hollow foil, which is super fun. So there's a nice Ketsu Onyo
nice.
from the rival set in hollow. It looks way better in person, I promise, because
It looks
shiny
good on film.
So.
And just so everybody knows, Kim is still writing them out. She wrote that down on a piece of paper and then took a picture of it and sent it to me.
So she's dedicated, people. She is dedicated. So, all right. Well, so head over to the Facebook page and answer that question, and let's move on to our discussion topic. Put Billy to work.
Want to get notifications when your favorite game is released, goes on sale, or changes price? This is a great feature you can find over at Miniature Market. They have an extensive selection of games, game supplies, and of course, Star Wars Destiny. With any item, you can get notifications when the item is in stock, drops in price, and much, much more. And of course, you can purchase singles, booster packs, and booster boxes, all from the comfort of your computer or mobile device. Their rewards program gives points to repeat customers to use towards discounts on future purchases. Miniature Market also has an extensive buyback program and will even increase the value of your cards by up to 30% if you choose to receive store credit. And don't forget free shipping on orders over $99. Miniature Market, a proud sponsor of the Chance Cube.
Oh, you kids crack me up in the chat. All right, so let's show topic.
Yeah, so Kim invited Billy to be on the show to talk about his league, and then she started dying. So, so we've had the pleasure of Billy's company this entire show, but now we're going to turn the focus to Billy. Billy was on the show with one of your cohorts. I want to say, oh gosh, it almost might have been a year ago by this point.
Oh yeah,
It's been quite a while, so we're really kind of curious to see how your league is happening and how it's been going. And for those who are new listeners out there, just some great insight as to running a successful league, because you guys do fairly well from what I understand. So let's just start with what's new with the league there in Richmond, Virginia.
Well, the newest thing with the league is we've expanded. In previous season, we partnered with one of the stores in our area for a 2-store league. When basically how that worked was you could, sign up at both stores. Both stores contributed product prizes. Both stores hosted nights, and one of the stores ended up hosting the playoffs. But we didn't do that partnership for season 3. But now for season 4, we've actually expanded to 2 other stores north of us. So One Eye Jacks is located in Richmond. And then Todd's shop, Tag Gaming, Todd from the Knights of Ren, his shop is participating in this. And then Your Hobby Place in Fredericksburg, Virginia is also participating in this. So it's a 3-store league now with players at all 3 stores, signups at all 3 stores, and being able to have this huge, diverse player base, which is really exciting for the league idea. For those of you that haven't heard about this league before, basically we play during a week. Week runs Monday to Tuesday to the following Monday, and we do 5 games. And you got to play other people in the league, and encourages not only diverse deck building types, but also encourages meeting new players. And you know how it is. We get in the rut of playing somebody that we know and play them ad nauseum, but you never really get to meet your other community members unless it's at a tournament or something like that. So this league idea really encourages being a diverse player base and a diverse player atmosphere that we can play in. So it's a great opportunity for being able to meet those players and try new deck types. Like I was mentioning earlier with that Zeb Anakin deck I built, being able to have a place where you could actually have a competitive, semi-competitive, I guess, atmosphere where you can test that deck and have it count towards your league points and towards these missions that we have, which are like special, deck building accomplishments or that kind of thing. So it's been really awesome. It's been very well received in the area, and it's been going strong. We've had at least 15 members for all the seasons, and I don't know specific numbers off the top of my head, but it's been a very, very successful endeavor and been a lot of fun.
Very cool. So you touched a little bit on you see a lot of diverse deck builds. One, how do you encourage people to bring the diverse decks? And 2, what are some of the more unique builds you've seen?
So Ruben always brings a mill deck, so that's never unique at all.
Surprise.
Called out.
So basically what we do is, we have in our little booklet for the league these what we call missions. And basically with the missions, they say, build a 3-character deck, build a 2-character deck, build a deck with red and blue, or build a rainbow deck, or build a mono deck, those kinds of things. And that's how we encourage it. We have different, those all count towards points. So toward the end of the year, and by, the standings that we every year, the top cut tournaments we do, the 9th place guy, is 1 point or 2 points out. So sometimes those missions can really stack up. But I've seen some really unique stuff. someone was really, I forget which player it was, but someone was really touting a K2 deck last season with EAW. It was all about K2. It's been you see there's a lot of different stuff coming to the table, stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think would work. I know the events manager, Steven, who really puts together the league from the store's perspective. He was loved his Dooku Voss deck. He loved that deck and would play it. So it allows us to have a really great diverse pool of decks we can pull from, and just people bring their decks. Like right now, I know they're playing actually right now at the shop, and I know that one guy, Mike, was building the Thrawn. He had been playing Thrawn Talzin, but now he wants to do the Aura Talzin deck. So you see different stuff. You're like, oh man, I gotta bring that to League Night, and then everyone goes there and you get some great information and feedback, while also earning points towards the end of the year prize in the tournament.
Very, very cool. Yeah, it's tough when you go to events every week and you see the same decks and they're always the meta decks and you're just getting smashed by them, and you wanna go out there and play something that's fun or thematic or something you just threw together with the 4-packs you bought 10 minutes before the event started, and that's not always even worth it. Sometimes you go 0-5 and you just don't even have a good night. So at least you're making it fun for everybody, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really great, and you have a lot of we've obviously trying to get as many new players into the game as possible, and a league night I think is a lot less intimidating than a tournament. You hear the word tournament, you're like, oh man, I've got to be an experienced player, and I've got to be able to bring have this top deck. But a league night, even just it's a casual night, and we say, yeah, you come on and play and enjoy meet the guys, the community, and really have fun with the game itself. I mean, I know Ruben's been bringing along his little Padawan named David, and David's been playing a lot of different stuff. So he's been a really fun player in the community as well. So it's been a lot of fun, having now these two other stores involved. That's something that the league hadn't really tackled before. We really, when we started, we didn't think that, oh man, we're gonna expand this to multiple stores in multiple towns. So it's just a testament to how great this game is, that everyone can really get in on one central thing and really make it much bigger than anyone ever expected it to be.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, so let's kind of go in the Wayback Machine and just a brief overview of how you guys have your league set up. I know it's expanded a couple stores since the last time we talked, but what does that season look like? How would someone in maybe a different community that doesn't have this kind of league vibe get started or set it up, and what kind of advice do you have for them?
So I think we start with a what I think is the biggest part is a booklet, and the booklet really gives you all the information about the league right off the bat. And it answers a lot of questions. And what's really unique about it is actually you can basically have it like the pages are perforated, and it's a nice little, very easy to follow score sheet. And it's a very easy to follow recipe for how to turn in the standings. We either turn in the physical sheet to the store, and in this case, any of the 3 stores. And then you have do it virtually as well. So we started this one last week, and it's going to run for about 8 weeks. It runs for, and during those 8 weeks, you get to play 5 league games against other league members during the week. And as long as it's completed by midnight on the last day of the league week, so it runs Tuesdays to the next Monday is our league week, and it counts towards the league. Each win is 2 points. Every loss is a point, and you get points at the end of the season based upon the missions that you complete. And we also have a bounty system. So you look at the top 4 standings from the previous week, and you get bonus points if you beat one of those top 4 players from the previous week. So we basically, how it works is you pay $10 and you get your booklet, you get a number, and that number is very important because that's how you identify who you've played and who your opponents have played during the league. And we go from there. You get you get a pack when you start off, and then at the end of the league, we have a top 8 tournament, and in the top 8, we have prizes that are either donated by the stores, donated by community members, and then packs and stuff like that from the stores as well. So those are the prizes that everyone goes for, and then it's a normal top 8 tournament like you would see. We also do it where anywhere you play, someone it counts. The only one we don't have is TTS because not everyone has access to that kind of a computer. But we also don't. We also drop your lowest week. So if you have a week where your family, family time gets kind of takes over your life, or work gets in the way, if you don't play a week, it's not going to hurt you. We drop that week at the end of the season. So we go from there, and it's a blast. It's a great way to really bring the community together, and that's what it's really done. And we that's how the league works. Like I said, the booklet, it's really brought it together and really makes it nice and easy for all the standings to be seen. The standings are posted weekly in our Facebook group for our area's Destiny. We actually created Stephen created another Destiny group just for league stuff, just for the league submission of the sheets as well as league standings. So it's an easy way to kind of keep our own Destiny group a little less cluttered with league stuff, and obviously so everyone that's in the league can easily see it. It's a great thing. We've been having a lot of fun with it, and I know I'm going to be donating, working on a custom art playmat for the winner. That is going to come a little later. And then one of my friends does wooden playmat frames that you hang on the wall to really nicely display a playmat. So he's going to be donating one of those as well.
That's really cool. That's what a smart idea with is playmats as prizes and a piece of art in themselves sometimes. That's really awesome. I really like the idea there's a league booklet that allows you to kind of keep track of things you've done. It's almost like, we're kind of in a world of achievements and rewards for doing things that may or may not have value. But I think a lot of it goes back to some of the stuff that the early Pokemon card game league was attempting to do. It's that got to get them all kind of mentality that really pervades a lot of gamers and collectors out there that keeps them going. So I think that's a really smart idea to make a league successful, is have that thing that allows you to visually see your achievements and to try to get them.
Well, even beyond that, it prevents the players from having to, bombard the store or me, or in this case, Steven, with questions about, how much is a win? How does this work? How does that work? It answers all those questions beforehand. So you just look in the booklet, and a lot of those questions are already answered and already figured out. And I just think it's a great, very organized way you can see your it's like, oh man, how many games did I play this week? How many, did I have, and who have already played? Do I want to play somebody else? Do I want to, try and seek out others to try and, make have a kind of a wider spread of players that I've played against? And it gives a schedule, when's the top 8? What's going to be up for prizes, that kind of thing. So it answers all those questions in one nice centralized place, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah. I would play your league just to get one of those sweet booklets. That's really cool.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. So Joe, who's been heckling us this entire show via the chat, actually had a real question for us. He wants to know, would you say that the league does better after regional or competitive Destiny has passed, or do you use it? Do people use it as an off night to play that casual night?
I think it's both. I think it's during regional season and competitive Destiny season. I think it's a great way to have it be that what we want it to be a testing ground, a gauntlet, as it were, of people who come together on one specific night in these different stores and be able to play together and test and have it be that testing ground that everyone wants it to be. But then after competitive Destiny, I think it's a great way to play those fun decks, play those casual decks, and just have fun with Destiny. We've even for maybe even the next season, we've kicked around the ideas of a sealed league night or like a draft league night, different things like that, to maybe spice it up when we're outside the regional or competitive Destiny season, and really kind of make it different and make it unique to the non-competitive season, as it were. So yeah, it's a great way for both. I don't think it ebbs and flows necessarily by the season, but it also does does well regardless of whatever next competitive scene we have coming up.
All right. So before we wrap this segment up, we have one more question. We really need to know if how is Mill really doing? We hear Ruben talk about how well it's supposed to be doing, and we want to know from a professional third party perspective.
Well, I mean, I've beaten his deck a couple times, so he's doing so well.
Oh, snap.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Billy, thanks for the thoughts and insight. And I think League, I think Richmond has one of the best models for a league out there. And a lot of it, we saw a lot of those folks come out to Nova, since that is part of the same or pretty close to the same region. I think that area is just so amazing, so friendly, but still represents when it comes to some competitive Destiny. So for sure, best of luck, and that we'll keep checking in on the league as it continues to progress.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I've had some time lately where work has gotten the best of me, and I haven't gotten to play in the league as much as I would have liked. But yeah, it's great. It's a great way to be a part of this community and have that night where everyone can come together and really play this game that we love. Nova was a blast last year, and it was great talking to you guys and meeting up with you guys. And I remember teaching a couple new players out of that 2-player box. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, Nova's a great time. I love it.
For sure. So thanks again to Billy for sharing that insight. He's going to stick with us for the remainder of the show, as we have a couple more segments left to go. But that's just a great reminder that we will be out at Nova again in full force this year. The ticket for the Nationals actually just went live a couple weeks ago. You can go to onovaopen.com if you want to get in on that. And this year they're doing 2 days of Swiss to pare down to the top cut. So expecting quite a huge turnout, which will be really exciting. We'll be there to live stream the entire week. So it's super fun. And they've also got a new, they always like to experiment with a format. Chris Sandlin, who's one of the organizers, they've got this time, they're doing kind of a speed format where you bring a one character each. And I haven't gotten the full rules yet, but it looks like a very interesting 1 hour event that should be a lot of fun.
So is it all Palpatines?
No, they put a point cap on it. It's a 20-point limit. It's a 20 card limit in your deck, and it's a battle royale, which is really, really cool. I'm actually really looking forward to that. One of our guys in the area helping run that, and it looks like a lot of fun. It's cool. like you said, a 1 hour event. It's gonna what's really cool is that you don't bring your battlefield. The battlefield is actually going to be provided at the event, so you don't even know what battlefield is going to be up for grabs. And basically, you play against 3 other people, and you take your actions and it's going to be a really, really cool event. I'm really looking forward to it.
Interesting.
That sounds fun.
I'm hoping to get at least 1 or 2 of those, so it should be fun. All right, so we'll move on to our listener questions for this show.
There can be no mistakes this time.
All right, so Joe had another question.
Yes, Joe asked, speaking of the new set, with the announcement of the quarter... With the new set... Okay, sorry, I can't read because Joe's phraseology is a little suspect here. With the announcement of the new set in Q3, which is somewhere between July and September, do you think it is too long between sets? And how many sets per year would you like to see?
There's been a big conversation going on amongst the family members about this today, and a lot of people want to see 4 quarters. I don't. I would like to see maybe two sets or 3 sets. I don't think that's gonna equate to a stale meta in any way. I just think the meta will have some different shifts and people will dig a little bit deeper into builds. And I definitely don't think that's a bad thing. This set, I feel like I've hardly even got to know it, and we're already looking at the next set. So I think maybe 2 or 3 sets is good.
I agree. I think you really want to hit that 3 set for a year overall. But I feel like when Empire War hit, I mean, we were barely into Empire War, and all of a sudden, Legacies, and we're seeing this, and we're all getting all excited for Legacies cards, and Empire War just kind of like faded into the ether. We didn't really have a time to really even really play with that set, in my opinion. But I think that I think having the set come up now, and then we can kind of work towards it in quarter 3. I think that's fine. There's a lot of cards in the Legacy set, and I think as a base set for this rotation, I think that really, it's good that you get to flesh out a base set that's going to be around for a while and get to see it.
Agreed.
For sure. And it'll be interesting to see if they continue to keep it on this some quasi set block per year. Are we going to get a cycle per year so that somewhere around January that first cycles out? Or are they going to space it out enough that the cycles don't necessarily tie to a calendar year? Which, as long as they're being conscious of those major events, like you don't want a set release right before Worlds, because that would put the Worlds into a frenzy. And I think that maybe one of the reasons why this set is going to see such a later release is you've got Worlds, you've got a major galactic qualifiers the end of May, which I was hoping we would see some new set action, but it sounds like we won't be seeing new set action until probably I would imagine Gen Con. It seems like might be the prime time to release that box set,
which I will be at this year, by the way, everybody. Gen Con bound.
So there's that, but then we've also seen them. We were getting Empire at War packs at Nova, and Empire at War was still a couple weeks off. I think Legacies packs were being handed out as prizes for those staff challenges in those events early. So we may see, who knows? We may see some early looking at Force. Why can't I remember this name?
WOF. WOF.
Way of the Force action at Worlds. I'd love to see everybody at Worlds get a pack of Way of the Force just for fun, but maybe too early for that. Who knows?
Maybe.
So, super exciting. And since Kim's a listener, she got to ask a question. Is Grievous going to be the Darth Maul of this set?
I doubt it. Grievous is so good. There's no way he's not going to see more play than
I think he's pretty solid that he's going to see quite a lot of play and be a card that everyone's going to run after and be really all about. That's going to be the card that's going to be all over TTS as soon as that's uploaded and people are already going to be trying to see what he's all about.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be on tonight or tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be quick.
Anybody can now. Everybody knows how to do their. Well, not everybody, but several people know how to do their own cards. So even if it's not on there for everyone, the more adept TTS users will have already pasted it onto the front of a card and been trying it out tonight. So,
I'll be making mine tonight.
And lastly, Joe would like to know, what character card do you want to see redone that hasn't been done already? Who do you want to see come around again? I'd love to see a Lando that's effective.
I want a Django.
I want a Jyn Erso that is actually playable. Because I think she was a really cool character, but man, she was just so overcosted in spirit. I think she could be a really fun character to play with and see what you could do with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Super cool.
Well, what about you?
All right. Everybody likes that answer. Big support over the Jyn call.
Yeah.
Excellent.
In fact, I think Joe says he can replace Kim. All right. Well, let's wrap this show up with some good old Star Wars.
Let's talk some Star Wars.
The Jedi. What do you know?
All right, guest first. What do you got this week for Star Wars, buddy?
My Star Wars has been the Destiny announcement this week, and actually I've been I mentioned going on vacation to Florida, so I've been introducing my wife to Harry Potter since we're going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So Star Wars is taking a little backseat for me, but it's I'm still kind of coming down from the Rebels season series finale and how amazing that was. So that was something special. That was really cool. So that's been my week for Star Wars.
That's awesome. When are you coming down to Florida?
I'll be down there this weekend. We're coming down Thursday and going to be at the park on Saturday.
Are you just going to that park, or are you coming to my park too?
No, I won't make it to your park this time, unfortunately. So we'll save that for our next trip. My sister-in-law lives in Orlando, so we've got a nice little spot to stay, regardless of when we come.
Gotcha. Well, you just let me know next time you wanna come see some Star Wars.
Yeah,
sure.
Joe's already volunteering you.
Apparently. What about you, Mike?
So much Star Wars this week. So I spent a little bit of money and I ordered my Star Wars Legions.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
This is the order form. I got a second copy just because I like collecting stuff like this. But so I got the core set, I got the dice pack, I got the mover and rulers, and I got all the expansions for the dark side. So we're gonna have a lot of miniatures painting to do, but it's awesome because it's Vader and stormtroopers and speeders and all kinds of cool stuff. So
that's fun.
Yeah. Also, I got
jealous.
some more work done. I guess you can't see it on my sleeve. We got some more shading done. It's a Star Wars Japanese sleeve, so I got that work done. And I started watching Rebels, but we're not going to talk about it yet because I haven't finished it. We're almost there. We're almost there, Joe. Next week on the show, we'll talk about it for sure.
Very good.
That's it.
Yes, I'm getting back into doing some reading myself in terms of just catching up on the Star Wars stories that have been going on. I guess what was really exciting for me is Star Wars has finally confirmed they've got an executive producer for their live action show. So Jon Favreau is going to be producing a live action Star Wars television series. I actually said that in a team meeting the other day, and someone's like, "Is there anything that's not live action for Star Wars?" And I was like, "Where have you been the last 17
there's
years?
a lot."
Anyways, so I'm really excited about the confirmation of that. They have said it's going to go straight to Disney's digital platform, which is their version of Netflix. Has a lot of I think CBS was the first one to do it, but I know a lot of networks are starting to think about pulling off of the big streamers and doing their own thing, trying to take a bigger piece of the pie, if you want, so to speak. So we'll see how that goes as the culture of watching television changes over the next few years. But I'll go anywhere Star Wars is. So
I
Disney
know.
got my money.
They already got my money. My little girls watch Disney movies pretty much all day, every day. So
absolutely,
we're gonna be having that channel on pretty much all day, every day.
Perfect. All right. Well,
I did find that meme.
Go ahead.
Hey, sorry. The I don't know if you guys saw that meme with after the Winnie the Pooh trailer dropped of Ewan McGregor turning around to see Pooh, and it says General Kenobi, and he brings out like lightsabers like he's Grievous. That's
I haven't seen that. That's awesome. Speaking of Winnie the Pooh, sorry, this is exciting. So I found that there's shoot, I can't say this yet. I'll save it for a couple weeks from now. All right. Continue. Anything else?
All right. No spoilers.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us again. This is we love bringing the show live every week. It's super fun to chat with those who are in the chat, even if it is just a couple of hecklers and a bunch of quiet people who are sitting there saying nothing and watching. I don't know if they're watching us or the chat stream. I'm not sure what's more entertaining. But again, thanks for everybody. And if you're listening to the show after the fact, we really appreciate your support. You can head over to patreon.com/thechancecube if you want to join the Chance Cube supporters and all the banter that goes on over there. And of course, if you subscribe here at Twitch, we will do our best to get you over there as well and get you all the same rights and privileges that any of our $5 Patreons have. So, which is a free thing if you are a Twitch Prime user. It's a free subscribe once a month. So, for sure. And if you haven't re-upped your subscription for last month, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We'd appreciate the support.
Yeah, first off, thank you, Billy, so much for coming on the show and trying out today to fill Kim's position. We'll let you know your results in about 4 to 6 weeks. And then secondly, make sure you guys follow us over on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, all the social medias. And yeah, like my boss over here said, this is the Chance Cube. And follow us on Twitch also if you enjoy the content. And I think that's it.
That's it. So insert rollout here.
This has been The Chance Cube, a Star Wars Destiny podcast, a non-profit organization dedicated to building community through gaming. Visit our website for all things Star Wars Destiny, including our price watch, meta tracker, and latest articles from the Chance Cube family. Find our latest videos on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit us at patreon.com/thechancecube. Your patronage allows us to grow this program and help us give back to the gaming community by sponsoring events, giveaways, and supporting our own community building initiatives. This is Mike Hill, the voice of the Chance Cube. Thanks for listening. The Chance Cube is not affiliated with Fantasy Flight Games, Lucasfilms, or the Walt Disney Company.